This video is on concept map as an informal assessment strategy. Concept mapping is a technique for representing the structure of information visually that describes the relationship between ideas in a knowledge domain. A concept map consists of nodes or cells that contain a concept, item, or question and links. The links are labeled and denote direction with an arrow symbol. The labeled links indicate the relationship between the nodes. Words are used to label the links in order to more explicitly depict relationships. There are several uses for concept mapping, such as idea generation or brainstorming, design and support complex structures, communication enhancement, and works best as learning enhancement by integrating new and old knowledge, and assessment of understanding or diagnose misunderstanding. When created correctly and thoroughly, concept mapping is a powerful way for students to reach high levels of cognitive performance. A concept map is not just a learning tool but an ideal evaluation tool for educators measuring the growth of and assessing student learning. Advantages of using concept map include allowing for deeper learning. It is shown to support struggling readers by building off of students' prior knowledge. Visual or graphic representations are usually easier to understand, retain, and recognize. Minimum use of text makes it easy to scan for a word, phrase, or the general idea. Visual representation allows for development of a holistic understanding that words alone cannot convey. This technique favors students with strong visual learning skills. It can be used in a large class setting, either individually or collaboratively, by giving the students a partially filled concept map or a few concepts to fill on the maps. It encourages collaborative learning and team knowledge mapping. Lastly, it is an active assessment. It can serve students as pre-writing and note-taking devices, in addition to being powerful self-assessment technique. Limitations for using concept map include issues on validity. For optimal validity, the concept mapping task must result in an artifact that accurately reflects the content and organization of students' knowledge. If the procedures of a concept mapping task are overly complex, there is a chance that the students' focus on the mapping procedures may degrade the quality of their representation. The concept map evaluation will influence the validity of the assessment by affecting the quality of the information extracted from the concept maps. To some extent, this will be influenced by the nature of the concept mapping task. If the procedures for creating a map are not well specified, the variation in students' maps may make interpretation difficult. Individual feedback can be time-consuming. Clear assessment criteria and grading are required for all parties so that students and assessors are fully aware of how the performance will be judged. Concept mapping is often not graded. It may sometimes be used as a quick assessment in class to check a student's conception on a topic, or may be used as an overview of an assessment, which may frustrate some students. Students with well-honed verbal skills but less developed graphic skills may find this assessment frustrating and question its value. At times, students are not familiar with concept mapping assessment and may find it intimidating. It is then best to introduce concept map to students if you are planning to use them as assessments. Start with a main idea, topic, or issue to focus on, then determine the key steps. Finish by connecting concepts, creating linking phrases and words. Ensure the students know what the objectives of the assessment are. Provide students the time period, guidelines, requirements, assessment criteria, and if there are items that are not to be included. The students should also be aware of who is going to assess them, either tutor, peers, or themselves. If peers or they themselves are going to assess, would the weightings be the same as the tutor's assessment? Prepare a structured marking sheet for all assessors and give sufficient time for students to respond. Depending on how the assessment was given, Feedback can be given on a one-on-one basis or can be marked using a prepared rubric by the instructor. Development of the concept map forces the student to act upon previous knowledge, connect it with new knowledge, and apply it. It requires the student to have a mental grasp of the situation rather than relying on rote memory. Review of the map with the student gives the instructor an opportunity to evaluate the student's thinking and an opportunity for immediate feedback on discrepancies and missing links. As the students create concept maps, they reiterate ideas using their own words and help identify incorrect ideas and concepts. Educators are able to see what students do not understand, providing an accurate, objective way to evaluate areas in which students do not yet grasp concepts fully.